Hey there, it's Michael Whalen, and this is the Artist Expansion Podcast. This is episode number 25. Yes, I've made 25 of these. Today, we are going to talk about something that I am going to call the wall. Do you know the wall? You know, you're going along in your career, and you're just staring at a wall. Nothing's changing. You keep doing all this stuff. You keep seeing stuff. Hey, I should go do that. Hey, I should go do that. And it's just the wall. The wall. We're going to talk about it because I think today, here in 2026, 2027, I think more artists are staring at that wall than ever before. And I think part of it is because of all the change. I mean, we've talked about AI. I have written about it. If you haven't gone to my Medium page, check out all the articles I've written on AI and a bunch of other things. And I think a lot of people are upset. I think a lot of people are feeling disconnected. I think a lot of people are feeling disenfranchised. I think a lot of people feel like the bus is leaving without them. What's the bus? And I think, speaking for myself as an artist, I get it. I have been successful. I mean, I have made a lot of successful albums. I've worked with a lot of people. I've been part of a lot of successful records, and I am incredibly lucky, and I don't take any of that for granted. And I work really hard to not get in my head about things I cannot control. Now, if you've watched the other 24 episodes to this, you know that I am not passive. You know that I am not one of these people who are like, well, it just is the way it is. So Spotify just announced that in 2025, they paid out $11 billion to rights holders. It's a lot of money. And a lot of artists are saying, okay, so where's mine? Where's my money? Shouldn't I be getting money? Well, if I looked at your data, I could tell you. If you've got hundreds or thousands of streams, no, you should not be getting much money at all. If you have tens of thousands of streams and hundreds of thousands of streams, or maybe even millions of streams, you'll get some money. If you have tens of millions of streams, hundreds of millions of streams, or even a billion streams, or like me, I have about 1.5 billion streams, you'll get a little bit more money. The key to the streaming thing is you have to detach the whole idea of a one-for-one relationship between the single play with a single person someplace on the globe and the money you're going to get in your hand. Because that's very much the old model of, hey, I'm going to sell you a CD, I'm going to sell you a cassette, I'm going to sell you a vinyl album. Hey, where's my money? Money in hand. And the danger there is there's a validation that says, I sold you this thing, you're going to give me money, I must be okay. In a streaming environment, there's none of that. There's none of that reassurance that says, okay, I'm making something that people like. In the new economy, what you really want is consistency. So the $11 billion that was paid, most of it is going to major labels and major artists. Other labels, some publishers, some other people, maybe your aggregator. And then by the time it gets to you, there's probably 4 or 5 or 6 sort of different levels of people like taking their 5% and 10% and 12% and whatever out of your money. And then whatever's left over is what you get. that is a big driver for why you feel like you're staring at the wall, because you're like, I don't understand. Back in the old days, in the 80s and 90s, I could make a living from selling my music. It's not true anymore. Even major artists will tell you that most recordings are made as a loss leader against doing live shows or streaming shows or brand partnerships and other branding opportunities that people have, or building your superfans, building that relationship. And I just did a blog about how important superfans are. Do you even know what a superfan is? There's 3 levels of fan. There's the casual listener. There's the fan, the person who knows your name. Maybe they have some idea where you came from. Maybe they have some idea what's going on with your music. And then there's a super fan who is obsessed by the idea of your music and the place that it holds in their life. And they will buy, go to, take action on almost anything you offer them. Even tiny artists, guys who play at the pub down the street, have a superfan. One. I have superfans. I have a bunch, and they're great, and they have driven my career for decades. And I am very lucky to have them, and they organize themselves, and I pay attention to them. More than anything, your superfans want a little of your time. It's nice that they know you know who they are, and they want to feel that they're part of the process. Because, I mean, the problem is that musicians take the whole making music thing for granted. They really do. So the idea that we can sit down at a keyboard, make stuff happen, record something, and create something that wasn't there 5 minutes before is magic to most people. It's magic. Now, in the age of AI, and you can go on, Suno, and you can go make something happen and whatever, is it less magic? No, it's actually more magic. If your superfans can see how you wrote it, the different versions you went through. Alicia Keys had, I don't know if she still does, but she had a vault site that you could subscribe to, and you could see every version of every song she had, and all these different versions of lyrics, and scratch demos and rehearsal things and whatever. It was so cool to watch the evolution of a song. She's incredibly talented, but watching the process was so cool. Superfan. Will your superfans be the thing that keep the lights on for your career? They'll be part of it. They're not going to be all of it. I think part of what musicians have to deal with, maybe you, I don't know, is that nobody is coming over the hill to sign you and give you a lot of money and tell you that everything's going to be okay. And all you have to do is sit in a room and write music. It's not happening anymore. You have to be your own producer, your own record company, your own motivator. You've got to make it happen. It's hard. Oh, I'm sorry. Have I not said that in 25 episodes of this podcast? Doing this is hard. It's hard. If everybody could do this, then everybody would. The barrier to this is hard. And even when you're in and you have some sense of who you are as an artist and how you're going to write and whatever, you're still staring at a wall. And there's people out there making money with music because they figured out how to take streams and commoditize the streams. Period. End of story. So this whole thing where all these people are like, I'm being cheated and I'm being ripped off and blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Go see a royalty assurance person at a major label. They will say, we are not being ripped off. I mean, they'll say that they're not being ripped off. They will say, we have a relationship to data, which is sort of akin to a military operation, and nothing falls through the cracks, so we get every microcent we are entitled to. What is your relationship to your data? What is your relationship to how money is collected on your behalf? Are you passive about this, or are you actively looking at what's happening? When I talk to younger artists, and so I'm 60, let's say under the age of 35, they tend to think about royalties in one big pot versus looking at all the different income streams. You have to. And people are like, oh, I don't understand, and I don't understand, and I don't understand. If you want help in your career, go to artistexpansion.com. Check out what I do one-on-one with artists. I do coaching, I do content creation, I do marketing, I do strategy. I'm really good at it. I've been really successful with almost 100 artists. I've run a record company. I've had a successful career now for over 30 years. And the bottom line is I can help you. I can also answer all of your questions. But one of the big things I will tell you right off the bat is you want to have a relationship to data. You want to know what is so with your music. And people have a really hard time with it. And if you're one of those people, I am not shaming you. I am not throwing you under the bus. I'm not doing any of that. What I'm saying to you very clearly, human beings have an aversion to bad news. So if you know you don't have a lot of streams or any streams, you're not really going to look at the monthly statement you get from your aggregator. Oh, I got 5 streams. I have 20 monthly average listeners on Spotify. Okay. It is what it is. So either you hear that as some indictment of you being terrible and that everything that everyone has ever said negatively about you is true, or that is simply where you happen to be at this moment. Period. End of story. So some people have asked me, I don't understand. Like, how do you, me, Michael Whalen, how do you do all this stuff? You're making music and you've got podcasts and you're doing all this writing and you're working with people and you're collaborating with people. And how do you do all this stuff? Well, part of it is I'm really good with my schedule. I schedule things and then I fulfill on the schedule. Like I actually do the things that I schedule. And the second thing is that I have a relationship to what's so in terms of my data. I have a relationship to the reality of me as an artist. And I see it very clearly. And the last thing, and I've brought this up a couple of times, but now I'm going to bring this up in a different way. I'm not asking my music to validate me. I'm not in a situation where by me having my music be however it is, now I get to prove myself right in the eyes of my family or my friends or all the people who hate me or whatever. My music is just my music. And as I said in the last podcast, I'm making music for myself. I'm not making music for you or for anybody else. For my super fans, I'm not even making music for them. I'm making music for me. And I'm only making music for me. So I'm not having my music be anything other than what my music is supposed to be, which is a reflection of what I want, my tastes, my wants, my desires. There you go. It's not any more than that. And I think a lot of you ask a lot of your music. I think a lot of you are in a situation where you're like, okay, my music has to prove all this stuff, and I've got to get rich, and I've got to be able to go be successful so I can go get a date, or I can go do this, or I can go do that. It's all about proving something. It's not going to happen, guys. It really is not. Even when you're successful, it won't be that. Many of my very, very, very successful friends in music are not holding on to their success by having it be proof of something. All they're doing is they're saying, okay, today's today. What am I doing today? They're not looking at it as, see, look at me. I mean, even when I've won my Emmys, these are Emmy awards, by the way, even when I've won my Emmys, it wasn't, see, look at me. All this is a reminder to me, or a reflection to me, that at a point in my life, I did something that people acknowledged, which is nice. That's all it is. In some ways, in my film and TV career, having these awards have really hurt me, because with independent people, they've looked at me and said, oh, now that he has 1 Emmy Award, 2 Emmy Awards, 8 nominations, whatever, is he going to be too expensive for us to call? And I'm like, no, call me. And so it becomes a whole conversation about, have I changed because I have the statue? So you really want to be thinking about, what barriers are you making in your life simply because you're asking your music to be more than what it is? Yeah, and there's issues. Getting paid, AI, marketing, branding, all that stuff. I can help you with a lot of that. However, you want to get paid? Get more streams. You want more streams? Then make sure that your music gets out in front of people who want to hear it. Let's talk about 3 things that you can do absolutely positively that will move the needle for you. Number 1, you want to look at different platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Pandora, Tidal, whatever it is, as different worlds unto themselves. So in the old days, you could post something on Facebook and the post would spill over into other social media platforms. That doesn't happen anymore. What happens is, the thing you do on YouTube stays on YouTube. The thing you do on TikTok stays on TikTok. There is very, 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 very little carryover from one platform to another. So if you want more views on YouTube, do a promotion on YouTube. There's a million tools. There's a million videos. It's YouTube. Look at them and start throwing $10 or $20 at one of your videos and see what happens in terms of visibility. Getting up above, just like a nose over the heads of the other zillion people who have videos, and see what happens. You'll be stunned. In my opinion, right now, 2026, YouTube is the best value dollar for dollar for promotion anywhere in the world. You've got a very enthusiastic group of people who want to listen to new music. They're open to it. They're making it happen. So in terms of being an engine for music discovery, absolutely positively, YouTube is the place. Absolutely positively. Second thing that you can do, Spotify. Yes, running marquee ads and doing that is helpful. However, doing the hard work of finding the independent curators in your genre, in your style, who could add your music to their playlist is really helpful. It takes time to do this. Many people who are independent curators are also radio people. They have digital radio. They have blogs. They have video blogs. Go find these people. Because by doing that, you will absolutely positively start moving the needle in terms of the Spotify algorithm about trying to get you out in front of the programmers at Spotify, some of which are AI and some of which are actual people, depending on what genre you're in, and they will add your song because of the activity. The Spotify algorithm is complex. And one of the big ones is anyone else programming this? There is an old phrase, nobody wants to be the first person in the pool. Okay, great. Let's rewrite it. Nobody wants to be the first person to program your music or put your music on a playlist. They don't. So you want to make it easy. You want to reach out to these people. You want to say, hey, I've listened to your playlist. My music is perfect. Check it out. That's the second thing you can do. The third thing you can do is you can have a really serious deep dive on this whole thing with superfans. Again, I wrote an article about superfans just last week. They can be incredibly important in terms of getting the word out about you, your music, gigs, selling t-shirts, all of that stuff. The bottom line is these people can become your patrons. Now, that's an old word. It's an old idea. It's been around for hundreds of years. It goes all the way back to the Renaissance. Pay an artist, sometimes shelter an artist. Look at Haydn. Haydn lived in a castle. He had an orchestra and a choir. Great gig. Great gig. You want to look at this and say, okay, so maybe instead of pulling my hair out about my streams, maybe what I should be doing is cultivating this superfan audience and paying attention to them and bringing them into my process. Maybe I'll do a Zoom with them every month and I'll do a mini concert over Zoom. Maybe I'll do a meet and greet where I can do a special thing for my people. You want to be collecting email addresses. You want to be interested in who these people are. You want to be building that. After a fairly reasonable amount of time, you can actually have a community of people who are supporting you and cheering you on and paying you. Hey, you put out a t-shirt, it sells out because of your superfans. You're playing a gig someplace and you've promised the gig that you're going to bring 30 people, tickets are sold. That's what superfans can do. Superfans can also be the people out on social media, no matter what platform it is, beating the drum about your new single and your new EP and your new album and, your tour and your streaming concert and all that stuff. And it doesn't cost you any money because they're so happy to be helping you and to be on the ground floor of something that is theirs. Let's try this again. Your career working is important to them in such a way where they will bring it close to them and go, how can I be of service to you? You want validation? There it is. There it is. That's the closest thing you're going to find anywhere, anyhow, when it comes to the music business. Having fans love, adore you, and support you. If you need or want something else, I can't really help you there. I can't. And you got to ask yourself, why do you need that? The AI thing we've talked about. You want to have a transformation in your relationship to what AI is and what it can be in your career. I have. I started with, oh my God, the robots are coming. I'll admit that freely. Do I think it is one of the biggest changes in human history? Yeah, it's a big one. And it's going to be with us, and it's going to get deeper and deeper into our society forever. I was watching this TED Talk, and this woman was saying that 1 out of 6 adults in the world are using AI for an intimate or a virtually sexual relationship. It's 2026. What do you think that number is going to be in a year or 3 years or 5 years? So AI is going to become a hugely important part of our lives, but you are going to decide what role it plays. Like, how far in are you going to pull it in? Are you going to make it part of your creative process? Okay. Are you not? Okay. But you want to look for yourself. Is that part of the wall that you're looking at? So the bottom line is, you really want to be thinking about, have I made up that I'm staring at this wall because I'm not willing to do the work? Have I made up that this wall is because I am afraid to ask for help? Am I staring at a wall because I am mired in how things used to be 20, 30, 40 years ago in the music business? Am I staring at a wall because I'm terrified of the future and change? And change is hard. I get that. Am I staring at a wall because I am out of touch with what's happening and I'm too lazy to catch up? I could do this for hours. There is no wall. It's the same conversation that I have when people are like, I have writer's block. You don't have writer's block. Writer's block doesn't exist. I've never had writer's block in my life. Writer's block is, I had a formula for making music and now it doesn't work anymore. That's writer's block, which is just, ugh. So the wall doesn't exist. You've got questions. You've got things you've got to deal with in terms of yourself and maybe reaching out to other people, information that you need to get. But there is no wall. There is no wall. And there's people like me who can help answer the questions and help you build a foundation that you can be building on for the next, 5 or 10 years. But this idea that recordings are going to come along and pay for your life, not really. The best thing about income from streaming at this point is consistency, which is why the system is never going to change, because you've got all of these Wall Street finance guys who have spent billions of dollars literally to buy the catalogs of people like Bruce Springsteen and Bob Dylan and Queen and all these guys, because their catalogs kick out a consistent income stream that can be commoditized and amortized for years. Okay. So if I'm a Wall Street guy, this is music to my ears. Oh, you want $550 million for Bruce's catalog? Okay, here you go. Because I've done the math of what it will take for me to recoup that money over the next 5 to 10 years. Okay. That's it. That's why the system's not going to change. So what you need to do then is you need to figure out, how am I going to work around the system, optimize the system, create adjacent sources of income, all of that stuff. System's not going to change. Spotify's not going to change. Like, are the payments maybe going to go up a little bit? Maybe. Are some people going to try some different things? Maybe. There's lots of ideas out there. But instead of hoping that maybe someday something happens, take control of your career today. I gave you 3 things to do. Go do those things. The superfan thing is something that will change your career immediately. Immediately. Even if you play occasionally at a single bar in your town, you know you've got at least one superfan. Now, your friends and family do not count. Friends and family are not superfans. They're not. Because they feel obliged and, parents have to go do that thing and whatever. Superfans are people in the world, hear your music, they get excited, off you go. There is no wall, guys. There is no wall. Please let me know if I can help you. I would love to be able to help you. www.artistexpansion.com. Thanks, guys.